Today we are making 2 holiday roasts that is just going to bring such sparkle to your holiday table. These are completely plant-based, vegan, and we're even going to make a gluten-free roast.
Yes, it's fantastic. And the holiday starts just a couple of weeks.
And we know that you are getting ready for the holidays too, and probably thinking about what you're going to be making, maybe a holiday roast. That's a huge thing, right?
Yes, and so we wanted to get this out before you even had to worry about it.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, because the nice thing about this roast is that you can make it ahead of time to make the holiday season less stressful.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes. Especially is that important when with the gluten-free option.
That's right.
Because it needs to sit in the fridge overnight for it to really gel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That one tastes better if it gets time to rest.
Yes, and it holds together.
And it holds together. Very good, important. So anyway, we're going to be enjoying this process today. I brought my mom. I'm Chef Ani. So enough talking. Let's get cooking. So we're going to start by making our holiday roast, right? Not the gluten-free. If you want to see the gluten-free one and you want to skip this recipe, just look for the markers. You can skip ahead and you'll see that recipe.
That's right.
Down the road a little bit. So we start with some tofu. Now, will this taste like tofu, Mom?
No, not at all.
No. Yeah, the tofu changes the consistency of the roast.
There you go.
Makes it really good. Some plant-based milk.
A little bit of oil.
Bragg's liquid aminos.
Yes, and a little bit of better than bouillon. So that's all our wet ingredients, and we just gotta blend it.
Okay, moving on to our dry ingredients. We're starting with some Vital Wheat gluten, right?
Yes.
Now we like the Bob's Red Mill brand. You can get that anywhere. Yeah. I will leave links for the specific ingredients we use. You can find those on my website. For the detailed recipe, head over to chefani.com. I'll leave a link down below.
Yeah, some tapioca starch.
Some nutritional yeast flakes.
Yes.
This gives a good flavor.
It really does. And we are going to add a little bit of chickpea flour. The reason for that is it just kind of adds another little element of taste. But you could use rice flour if you don't have this.
Yes.
And or even regular flour.
Some onion and garlic powder. Just gives a good flavor again.
And this is a very nice thing to add to a roast because this is mushroom powder.
Yeah, and it's probably our secret ingredient, right?
It really is, yes. And we just have the dried mushrooms around, and so when we need it, we grind it up, and we have some flour, and it gives a very nice earthy tone to the roast.
Adding in some sage and thyme.
And last but not least, we're going to add in a little bit of smoked paprika and a little cayenne. It's not because we want this to be hot, but it adds to the flavor profile, and so it just kind of, it just adds.
Oh, it totally adds. It's very good. So we have our wet ingredients, and we're just going to mix that with the dry.
And it might seem a little dry, but it actually is not. And by the time it all gets together, it's going to be the right consistency.
Try to keep most of it in the bowl. Missy.
All right, Ani, this roast is actually...
it looks phenomenal.
So we make our own stuffing. And there's a recipe on chefani.com.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, and it is a super delicious, moist, and wonderful
stuffing. Good. And if you want to see me actually make it, there's a video with, I make stuffing with the delicata squash. If you have not seen that video, it's a really good one for this time of year.
Right.
And I make the stuffing in that video. So if you want to actually see it done, check out that video. We have so many holiday recipes, don't we?
We do.
I mean, we have mashed potatoes, holiday gravy. We have multiple roasts. So if you want to check out our roast recipes, you can check out those.
Yes.
I will leave all these links down below.
First, we put the dough over like this.
Yes.
And then we actually want to meet the two sides together in the middle.
And you use the parchment paper to help.
Yes.
Yes.
Otherwise, it would be very, very sticky. And this is going to be the bottom of the roast. So it doesn't have to be super pretty.
Right.
Because when you flip it over like this,
Yeah.
you can see
It'll be
that
good.
it's going to be very nice shape.
And then you just tighten the sides, right?
Tighten the sides.
Yeah.
What we like to do is we like to wrap it in foil just to keep the moistness
Right.
inside the roast for the baking process.
Moving on to our gluten-free roast. This is actually a very similar process, right?
Yes.
A lot of similar ingredients except for a few. So we're going to start with our wet ingredients and put them in a food processor.
This is tofu based, this roast. It doesn't taste at all like tofu.
No.
And it has a very nice consistency and also flavor at the end.
And we're going to add in a little oil, some Bragg's liquid amino, and to hold this roast, to make it hold together and be a little bit firmer in texture, we add in some agar-agar powder. To be effective though, it needs to be warm,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so we heat the Bragg's liquid aminos a little bit, and then we stir in the agar-agar powder. Now we're going to work on our dry ingredients. So we have some rice flour and some cornstarch, some nutritional yeast flakes, some mushroom powder. This is the same mushroom powder we talked about earlier. We just get dried mushrooms and we grind them into a powder, and that's like the secret ingredient in this roast, isn't
Yes,
it?
it gives a really good flavor.
Really good
Yeah.
flavor.
Okay, so we have some onion and garlic powder.
And some sage, thyme, savory, and cayenne. And a little salt. So are you excited about the holiday, Mama?
Oh, I'm super excited. Kaya's coming home and that livens up the place quite a bit.
It does.
Yeah. You know, we cook together. We have a lot
Yeah.
of fun. I don't know what it is like in your home, but we do a lot of fun things.
A lot of it involves food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we puzzle.
We puzzle, we play music,
Go for walks.
go for walks.
Yes. Bake.
Bake.
Yes. That's probably one of our favorite. Popcorn.
Yes, we
Ooh.
love to pop.
And the maple popcorn is probably our
Oh
favorite.
yes, we
That's
have a
it.
recipe on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maple popcorn.
I'll put it down with the other 45 links that we promised to put in this video. So this is a lot wetter dough, isn't it?
Than the first one.
Exactly, it's a lot more wet.
So it's a little trickier to pull together, but it works so well.
Yes.
So this is probably the toughest step right here.
So now we're going to put in the gluten-free stuffing. You can find this recipe on my website. And now we're ready to bring it all together, right?
That's right.
So normally we take these two sides and pull them in, and then pull it all together,
Like that.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
glue it together,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So you kind of press it.
And then you fold the paper down. Even it out a little bit.
And this one is ready to go too. So now all we have left to do is to just bake these two, right?
Yeah.
And they do swell a little bit in the oven, right?
But it will actually shrink back up.
Yes.
And the gluten-free roast is going to actually feel really soft when it comes out. So it's not ready to eat. There's another step that's super important.
And that step is putting it in the fridge.
That's right. For
Right.
several hours before serving, and
That's
then
right.
reheating it. And just that having it in the fridge for a few hours actually sets it very nicely, and then you can reheat it and slice it and do all
right.
that you need to do with it.
So now we're going to show you a bonus trick that we like to do. It's a very nice way to make this roast look so beautiful,
Yes,
right?
it is.
This variation is not gluten-free.
So we do this for the first roast.
Yes.
We need a moisture barrier between the roast and actually the puff pastry. But what
Yeah.
we found is that if we didn't have a moisture barrier, it made the puff pastry very
Soggy.
soggy. And we don't want
No,
any
we don't want a
soggy,
soggy
right.
puff
No.
pastry, no.
Okay,
Okay.
we're gonna set this aside while we get our puff pastry out. So we want to cut around a little bit for all this extra because we do not want to have a thick layer underneath. You just want to tuck it underneath.
And then we bake that, right?
Yeah.
You can score the top.
We score the top a little bit.
So that is how you make our family's favorite roast. And we hope this kind of kickstarts your holiday season. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel. We have so many holiday recipes coming, don't we?
We really do.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday with another video.